Hi, it's me again. For those who haven't been keeping up with the news, here's what's going on. Tyler Malka, aka EvilLore, CEO and founder of popular video games forum NeoGaf, has been accused of sexual assault. The story broke on Facebook when the accuser claimed that while she and Malka were on a road trip to New Orleans, they had been drinking in their hotel, she got sick, and when she hopped in the shower to feel better, she was surprised to find that he got into the shower fully naked behind her. When she told him it wasn't okay, that she was sick, that she had a boyfriend, and that she didn't want that, she claims Malka got out and slowly started resenting her, being mean to her, and ignoring her. She then talked about how her relationship with her boyfriend suffered as a result of all this, resulting in an eventual breakup, and stated that she couldn't come out about this situation because the perpetrator is a semi-famous man who would have retaliated when she couldn't defend herself. Furthermore, she was afraid to say his name out of fear of ridicule and not being believed. Eventually, after being persuaded to stand up and name the perpetrator, she wrote, "Fuck it, Google EvilLore." This single message caused a ripple effect that would result in NeoGaf going down in flames. NeoGaf's infrastructure completely crumbled as all of the website's core administrators and many of its moderators walked out in a show of solidarity with the accuser, and many users followed suit. With few left to manage the website, the forum quickly filled up with a combination of shitposts and threads protesting against Malka's alleged sexual assault. As news began to spread, traffic on the website spiked to an insane level, and now, as of the making of this video, heading to NeoGaf will give you a 503 error citing a scheduled maintenance. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all the facts that we have. Now, I'm assuming that many of you have already seen my last video and might be wondering why I'm doing a follow-up. Well, I wanted to address a few things, among them being the biggest piece of feedback that I got, which was that I was jumping the gun by using words like victim before all the facts of the story are known. And looking back, that is something that I would like to concede to. I am a believer of the innocent before proven guilty mantra, and while I tried not to take a side in my last video, I may have leaned more towards labeling Malka as the perpetrator and the accuser as the victim without having all the facts. When reporting on a story like this that could have such a widespread impact on many people's lives, the semantics are very important, and I'm grateful to all of you who pointed that out and made me realize that I may not have presented the information in the most objective way possible. With that said, I do want to elaborate further on the story, particularly where Tyler Malka is concerned. I said in my last video that the man has a bit of a history of sexual assault or harassment allegations, but I didn't say much more beyond that, which didn't help in conveying a full picture of what's happening, so I'd like to rectify that. One noteworthy incident comes from back in 2012, when he took to NeoGaf forums to brag about how he groped another woman on a trip to Spain. He talked about how the woman was flirting with him heavily, and feeling as though he was being led on to buy her a drink, he, quote, consented and then grabbed her ass hard to show that I wasn't being taken advantage of, and she thought better of treating me as a mark and left without taking her drink. Malka then proceeded to ban many of the accounts of those who questioned the morality behind his actions. Then, just a few months ago, on June 2017, when one of the website's moderators, Christopher John Goldberg, aka Amerox, was arrested and charged for possessing child pornography, Malka went on to release a statement claiming that no one on the moderation team even knew his real name. However, there is evidence suggesting that Malka did in fact know Amerox's real name, as shown by this GoFundMe campaign that Christopher Goldberg organized, to which Malka directly donated $1,000 to. From there, when a journalist tried to reach out to Malka for comment about whether they'll begin vetting the mod team for criminal behavior, Malka immediately blocked them on Twitter. Now, I'm not saying that this stuff is damning evidence that the recent sexual assault allegations happened. Obviously, there needs to be a proper investigation before passing any judgment. However, that's not to say that Malka's past pattern of behavior should be outright ignored either. I should also point out that it's no small thing for all of NeoGaf's admins, the forum's governing body, to just up and leave. These were people who worked closely with Malka to create and maintain NeoGaf's infrastructure. These were his coworkers, essentially. The fact that not a single one of them went out of their way to defend Malka, the fact that they were so quick to abandon ship following allegations, the fact that they were so quick to be willing to burn NeoGaf to the ground, this massive community that they've built up and been a part of for years, says something. I also briefly want to touch upon the accuser. Is it within the realm of possibility that they lied to drag the accused through the mud? Yes, it is possible. There have been cases where this has happened. But I do want to bring up two topics of contention. One of the most frequently asked questions is why a victim of sexual assault or harassment would wait before finally coming out. Why now? They hold out because they're afraid and embarrassed. They're afraid of how they'll be perceived and treated after the information's out. They are embarrassed that something so heinous happened to them. It's not a topic that you can just casually bring up. It is a trauma for them. Then the question becomes, why didn't they immediately go to the authorities? Well, besides being afraid and embarrassed, once you get the authorities involved, it becomes this big, ugly, widespread thing. The incident becomes public. There are extensive investigations to partake in, court dates to attend, lawyers to hire, and it's just time-consuming, costs a lot of money, and it's this thing that takes over your life over a period of months or years even, and throughout that time, the victim has to keep reliving what happened. And this is all way worse when victims are up against someone famous, powerful, and resourceful. At that point, the fiasco becomes even more public, and the victim is left to their own devices to stand up against someone who's probably better equipped to work the system and deal with the situation. Which is why so many victims decide it's better for their mental and financial health to just move on. And yeah, this is something that sexual predators know and take advantage of to get away with it. And then maybe one day something might instigate the victims to finally speak out. In this case, I believe the Harvey Weinstein fiasco and the viral #MeToo hashtag might have had some influence in the timing of this accusation. Let me be clear, I'm not trying to infer anything by pointing all this out. This is just me laying out context and information for those asking these questions. While it is within the realm of possibility that the accuser may be lying, I also want to point out that this kind of delayed accusation isn't necessarily abnormal or suspicious behavior for a victim of sexual harassment or assault. Okay, with all that out of the way, the fact does still remain that most of us still don't exactly know what transpired. It's all he said, she said. It is true that it's too early to use words like perpetrator and victim and label people as such. For now, all we can do is that a proper investigation is conducted, that the truth is reached, and that eventually justice is carried out. And what sucks about all this is that there's no such thing as a good outcome in this situation. If the accuser is lying, then someone's reputation and life got dragged through the mud. If the accuser's telling the truth, she'll have to bear the scar of what transpired for the rest of her life. Either way, I think we can all agree that it's just a shitty situation all around. Anyway, I think that's all I have to say about that. I hope to not make a habit out of discussing these topics because that's not what this channel is all about, but this being related to this gaming community, which is what we are, I don't know, I guess it kind of struck a chord and I just wanted to talk. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. Now let's get back to talking about games.